Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning in to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy Mangola, South Florida. And today's date is Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. And I was just browsing through on my phone. I checked on a few things. And, I'm not a big fan of mainstream newspapers. However, this one caught my eye. And I find this one very intriguing, of course. Well, this one came out and from the Orlando Sentinel, or Sun Sentinel actually, by Anthony Mann. I'm laughing because sometimes they'll throw a lot of propaganda in there, waiting. So if the TV, run to the TV, run into the newspapers. They're pocket full of shills, right? Thanks, Chris G. Now you got that in my head. All right, well, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to read this right here. It says here, video surfaces showing QAnon-Promoting Congresswoman Harassing Student after Massacre. Okay, so this one here is pretty... There's a reference to the whole Stoneman Douglas ordeal. And just to let you folks know, I'm not praising what happened. And I remember in my past shows when people asked me if it's a false flag, and I said there's a lot of questions in that, especially for one of the teachers that seen that one person wearing a full body armored on a third floor. I think her name is I have a feeling I'm going to have to look at it again, but sorry about that, folks. But I remember she was on Good Morning America too, by the way, talking about that. When people ask me about if it's a false flag, I go, listen, false flags doesn't mean no one died, okay? I made that point across about almost 3 years ago, and I still say it today. All right, so that's one of the areas I will stand on. But the question is, kill bono, who benefits? That's what comes down to it. And what happened was this article is mainly about Congresswoman from Georgia. I think her name is Terry Green Lee, was asking David Hogg questions. So this is what Anthony Mann has to say. It came out today, almost at around noon. A video surfaced Wednesday showing U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican QAnon promoter. See, QAnon promoter. So they want to use a QAnon thing here. Following David Hogg near U.S. Capitol, harassing him and trying to guard him into responding. The exact time of the video isn't clear. So, I'll just keep on going here, because when you watch the video, the press does this all the time, asking questions. So, secondly, she's being playing press. But I forgot, she don't work for an actual newspaper company, so she don't count. See, this is how these people are real sneaky, try to throw that manipulative mind control rhetoric at their readers, all right? So, come along here. It says here, Hogg became a gun control activist on February 14, 2018. Massacre that killed 17 people and wounded 17 others at a school, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Green was elected in November to a Georgia congressional seat. She promoted QAnon conspiracy and people combining through her social media history and found bizarre utterances from her past, including her assertion that Stoneman Douglas massacre was a false flag operation. Okay, so a little question: false flag operations. So I'll be very frank. I can't make any judgment on this, but I'll keep on going. The video of Green going after Hogg was highlighted on Wednesday on Twitter by Fred Guttenberg, whose daughter Jamie was one of the 17 people killed at the school. Guttenberg has also become a prominent activist against gun violence in the aftermath of his daughter's murder. The video appears to show both of them in Washington, where they'd been separately making their cases on gun-related issues. She complained that he was able to secure appointments with U.S. senators, but she wasn't able to get in to see any. I'm going to play this for you, and we'll just take it from there, okay?
Yeah. David, why are you supporting the red flag laws? If Scott Peterson, the resource officer at Parkland, had done his job, then Nicholas Cruz wouldn't have killed anybody in your high school, or at least protected them. Why are you supporting red flag gun laws that attack our Second Amendment rights? And why are you using kids as a barrier? Do you not know how to defend your stance? Look, I'm an American citizen. I'm a gun owner. I have a concealed carry permit. I carry a gun for protection for myself, and you are using your lobby and the money behind it and the kids to try to take away my Second Amendment rights. You don't have anything to say for yourself? You can't defend your stance? How did you get over 30 appointments with senators? How'd you do that? How did you get major press coverage on this issue? And how did you get kids? Why do you use kids? Why kids? You know, if school zones were protected with security guards with guns, there would be no mass shootings at schools. Do you know that? The best way to stop a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun. But yet you're attacking our Second Amendment. And you have nothing to say. No words. So I'm walking. He's got nothing to say. Sad. He has nothing to say because there really isn't anything to say, you guys. He has nothing to say because he's paid to do this. He has the walkaway march. He's got the women's march, and they're funding all of this. Everytown Gun USA, they're funding all this stuff. Okay, that was David Hogue right there. David, we saw him inside the Senate building. He had 30 appointments where he ran around and got to talk to senators. I got to talk to none. He had media coverage all over the place. I had zero. Guess what? I'm a gun owner. I'm an American citizen, and I have nothing, but this guy with his George Soros funding and his major liberal funding has got everything. I want you to think about that. That's where we are. And he's a coward. He can't say one word because he can't defend his stand.
Yeah, so that video shows she wasn't really harassing him, but asking legitimate questions, as a reporter should do. Of course, Fred Guttenberg was very disturbed about it. And I'm not condemning him. My sympathies goes out to him and all the victims' heirs. I'm still infuriated by this. Okay? But the question is, why are you gonna go after the NRA and Donald Trump? That's how March for Our Lives done. And there's already laws in the books on that, which the suspect, Nicholas Cruz, was declared man defective in the courts. He wasn't allowed to own any firearms based on those conditions on the state law, federal and state law. The state law can give you, if I'm correct, is 793, Florida statute 793.065. If you're considered military defected, you're not allowed to own any firearms. Okay? And of course, Broward County ordinance on long rifles, 5-day waiting period, under 18-96, 5 business days. He went through. He was cleared. What happened? Those are the questions. You know, if someone give me any information from March for Our Lives or the victims' heirs, including Mr. Guttenberg, went after the FDLE on this, please send it to me, because I don't have to look into it myself. I admit it. But how come they didn't go after them? That's the legitimate question. And I'd like to thank all the people, even though I'm not crazy about the Sun Sentinel, but their time they brought that out. And that's good. So they have their pros and cons. That's why I tell people I observe responsibly, and I digress. All right, so I'm going to continue on with this article. Green Trails Hogg making comments, asking him questions as he walked down the sidewalk, demanding to know how he managed to see elected officials. How did you do that? How did you get major press coverage on this issue? And how did you get kids? Why did you use kids? Why kids? Hogg ignores Green's taunt, which is not a taunt, it's a legitimate question, okay? Okay, so I'm going to continue on here. Prompting her claim he can't defend his views because he won't engage her while she's chasing him. She also labeled him a coward for not responding to her bait. They're just trying to go after Miss Green before she became a congresswoman. This is how the press, mainstream press is. Mr. Anthony Mann. Okay, this is like very absurd. A very shame on him for this, really. So as I proceed, on Wednesday he tweeted about the video. It's so frustrating that people like at MT Green in Congress that would rather spread conspiracies about mass shootings than confront the reality people are dying every day from gun violence. I just want to do the work and help end gun violence, Hogg wrote, adding, you think that he want to be doing this? And he said, ran it to Matt Green. No, I'd rather be able to be a college student, but I and others can't. You know why? Because corrupt politicians like you have made it so on the survivors of gun violence to end gun violence because you can't do your damn job. So, Mr. Hogg has made a clear statement. It is your fault, Miss Green, for what happened to me at the Stoneman Douglas. Please, how meek and unbearable this gentleman is. And I say that in good faith. All right? There's no hatred towards him, but his actions are downright unacceptable. Absolutely ludicrous. Okay? Question I have for Mr. Hogg. Prove to me the police are obligated to protect you. It didn't. Guys tried to take it to court. It failed. In my past episodes, I talked about that. All right? And how come you support a firearm-free zone? It didn't work. That didn't work. And another thing you didn't learn from, all you people in there, even from the schools that are my demographics, you didn't learn a damn thing from massacres in Columbine High School and 9/11. All right? Those are the facts. Firearm-free zones don't work. But you're able to have the government try to protect you? Forget it. You've been duped. Each and every one of you, including Mr. Hogg. This is why I told everyone that March for Our Lives are Khmer Rouge approved. Okay, children of the Khmer Rouge. I've seen their rhetoric before. I've read about it in history, how they use children. The Hitler Youth, Pol Pot, all these groups and individuals made this a reality. They try to bring it again. They don't want to learn from the past. They want to keep repeating the game of recycled. Feed you with recycled pus. Okay, this is totally insane. All right, so yeah, I have the right to criticize Hogg on this. This guilt trip, like I'm saying, like a prima donna. Come on, Mr. Hogg, be more manly in that. With Hogg not engaging with Green, the audio is entirely her talking. He has nothing to say because there isn't anything to say, you guys. He has nothing to say because he's paid to do this. She said, complaining that he got to speak with senators and was covering by the news media while she didn't get to talk to any senators and didn't get any media coverage. I had a zero. Guess what? I'm a gun owner. I'm an American citizen. I have nothing. But this guy with his George Soros funding and his major liberal funding has got everything. I want you to think about that. That's where we are, and he's a coward. He can't say one word. And what's funny, interesting about that, because a New American did a report on March for Our Lives. It started by an organization called CA Corporation, based out of Plantation, Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like right down the road, folks. CA Corporation, around I think Pine Island Boulevard. Look it up under New American and March for Our Lives, CA Corporation. Very interesting there. So, and the fact is, that's public information too. And the truth of the matter is, it wasn't created by Dave Hogg or Emma Gonzalez or any of the students. It was a group of people a little bit older, you can say. Okay, so I'm going to proceed. Part of Hogg's response on Wednesday after surviving gun violence. This is just 0.1% harassment advocates for gun control have to deal with. Hogg wrote, "Every day we are forced to act and fight through all our trauma, fight for those that can't because they were killed due to people like refusing to do your job and protect kids, not guns." See, again, government, take care of me. Government, I need assistance. Sweet Polly purebred syndrome. Remember Underdog? Oh, where is my underdog gone? Oh, where can it be? Okay? Just like the cartoon Underdog. Sweet Polly purebred calling them out. We can't take care of ourselves. Save us. I can't defend myself. Ow, Underdog, save me. We're friends in the home. I can't defend myself with my family. Okay? This is how the mindset is, folks. Total mind control propaganda, all right? Green demands to know why Hogg is supporting so-called red flag gun laws. Red flag gun laws, formerly known as extreme risk protection orders, allow the government to seize firearms that people deem dangerous to themselves or others. The red flag laws have widespread support among Democrats and Republicans after Stoneman Douglas massacre. Florida Republicans controlled legislator and Republican governor enacted a red flag law in the state, which is null and void, unconstitutional under Article 1, Sections 9 and 10 of our state constitution. That's a fact. And I still haven't forgotten what Rick Scott done and all those numbnuts, including Gary Farmer Jr., Senator Gary Farmer Jr., trying to push more of this treasonous platform on our great states. Okay, so that tells you something, folks. It is null and void from the very beginning. All right, and what happens is what they're trying to do on a federal level is considered Article 1, Section 9, because I'm in good faith. I am convinced this extreme protection orders is a bill of attainder. There's no due process, and it's an impairing contract. So you can look at Article 1, Sections 9 and 10 of the U.S. Constitution as well. I'm giving you facts. And you can look it up yourself. I'm not going to put the stuff on here. I've done it enough times. You folks out there that are like-minded people can look these things up and make your own judgment. So I will continue on. One of the comments Green directs at Hogg is claimed that he is being financed by the liberal billionaire Soros. Conspiracy theorists on the right have for years been advancing the idea that Soros is behind just about everything they don't like. The Soros conspiracy notion is especially popular among anti-Semites. And it's funny because how's that anti-Semitic criticizing George Soros? Do you remember when people watch on they had a 60 Minutes interview with George Soros when he was in his teens? He actually ratted out the Jews to the Nazis to protect himself. Got the Jews rounded up, got their property taken. Yeah, he was considered a Nazi informant, but that's okay. That's not anti-Semitic, right? Please, this is like Mr. Man. You have no merit. I'm sorry. Based on this article, it is horrendous. But I want to finish this off, finish the rest of it on this matter, because it goes, a lot more than what it is, right? So that's the anti-Semite. It's like all this rhetoric is being watered down, diluted, like racist and Nazis and all white privilege is all being diluted. Thank you, Mr. Man. You're such a intelligent individual on this matter. Hogg ridiculed her assertion that he's getting financial support from Soros for the 8 billionth time. Could someone please tell me where the millions I have been paid by Soros is? I love to have the rest of the college and I go to grad or law school paid for, a nice place for my parents, and therapy paid for the rest of my life. Guttenberg also addressed Green on Twitter asking, is this you harassing David Hogg 111 weeks after the Parkland shooting that my daughter was killed in? He was in, calling him a coward for ignoring your insanity. I will answer all of your questions in person. Get ready to record again. In 2018 and 2019, Green indicated support for executing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other prominent Democratic politicians. CNN reported Tuesday she liked a Facebook comment that said a bullet to the head would be quicker to remove House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and liked comments about executed FBI agents who she believed were part of the deep state working against then President Donald Trump. Green's office didn't immediately respond to a request for a comment on Wednesday specifically about whether the Congresswoman had any second thoughts or regrets of what she did. So that's interesting what she made a claim on Facebook. I might have to look that up and do another episode to make my own judgment. But I'll tell you this. On the aspect of her doing an interview with asking Mr. Hogg questions on this matter of red flag law, and Mr. Mann, author, and even Mr. Gruttenberg, okay, saying she's harassing him? No! It's called free speech. Free press. First Amendment. End of story. She didn't say anything to Mr. Hogg, I wish you're effing dead. No, it was legitimate questions. I can defend her in that area. But all the folks on Facebook, all the folks on the Sun Sentinel just going after her, expel her, and this and that. Well, CNN made these claims. I'm not too crazy about them, but I'll have to verify it. And I'll let you know my next episode of what I think about it, okay? I don't support any threats by any means, wishing people any ill. But I can tell you this, Nancy Pelosi is a treasonous quack. I do call her sedition of the House, and I'm still convinced that the D.C. ordeal, the so-called insurrection, was an inside job. Yeah, that's a fact. I am convinced. I am real convinced. In my heart and soul. It was done internally. So it's something you got to look at when it comes to freedom of speech and the press. She has that right to ask those questions. It's legit. If you don't like it, don't read it, don't listen. But if you're going to try to ban her for that, you became the enemy of liberty. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And Mr. Hogg, the government aren't obligated to protect you. It was proven in court on your crew's behalf. The police aren't obligated to defend the students at that day, which is horrific, and I'm still disturbed about it. At least I've taken the initiative on reading the Stoneman Douglas Massacre, Stoneman Douglas report, committee report. There's a lot of fallacies on these so-called governmental delegates, including Scott Israel. I can say that. But the firearm-free zone don't work. Red flag laws is a road to tyranny. And based on that, anti-Semitism, Mr. Man, Hitler took guns from the Jews. Red flag laws are pretty damn similar when you look at it. Same thing, different package. That's my intake on this. What about you guys? That will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this around your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or something interesting you want to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence to Decorum. Furthermore, I'll leave a footnote of this article on my Spreaker page. And if you want to contact me, you can hit me at LookYouLuck3@protonmail.com. Or you want to do donations, you can hit me at paypal.me or cash.app/LookYouLuck3. All right? That's all together, by the way. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.